Welcome to Kaalia of the Vast. I was trying to decide what deck I wanted to record this week, and then Game of Thrones is coming out, and I figured, hey, let's go for it. Let's get some angels and demons on the battlefield. It'll be very Games of Thrones. But we have Kaalia of the Vast. That's going to be 4 total mana flying. Whenever Kaalia attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. Now, as far as this particular build of Kaalia, I ended up kind of taking a little bit of a different build, or at least in a little bit of a different direction. I ended up kind of building like a Mardu token style deck, and one of the main reasons for that is typically, at least every time I've played against Kaalia, as soon as she hits the battlefield, you want to deal with her right then and there. You don't want to leave her around. She's going to get something really dumb on the battlefield really quick. And so Kaalia tends to draw a lot of hate. So when I decided to build her, I kind of wanted to build a deck that could build up some sort of board state, still get down Kaalia and be a threat, and at the same time still kind of keep attacking our opponent's life total, whether it's Young Pyromancer tokens or Monastery Mentor tokens. Long story short, I just wanted to kind of smooth out some of the value to where we're not all just bottlenecked on Kaalia just herself. So a little bit of a different take. You know, this is a deck in progress, but I really enjoyed recording with it, and I can't wait to show you the gameplay. But let's jump into the deck tech. So one of the ways that we can really take advantage of getting some tokens down is going to be cards like Amara Angel and Angel of Invention. So with Angel, it's going to, whenever a land enters the battlefield, we're going to get a 1/1 bird token. Angel of Invention is actually going to kind of work out as a little bit of a tribal lord for the deck. Other creatures you control get +1/+1. That's going to help out Kaalia. And then it has the Fabricate for 2. So let's say that we can get this down. We have that tribal lord effect. We get 2 of those little robot servo tokens on the battlefield. You're good to go. Outside of these 2 angels, we do have Linvala, not Lavinia, flying. Whenever it enters the battlefield, that's going to allow us to gain a little bit of life if our opponent has more life than us. And we can also put a 3/3 white angel creature token. Linvala is not the most, it's not the best token generator that you can have in here, but it is nice having that life gain effect. It does matter in certain situations to where, you know, your life total is getting a little low. Let's say we're sitting at 10, that can pump us back up to 15, hopefully help us kind of stabilize. And it's always nice to have an extra body on the battlefield, especially if you can kind of amplify those extra tokens out. Now, outside of the angels, there's actually some pretty good dragon tokens. We have Laughless, which whenever another non-token dragon enters the battlefield, that's going to give us a 5/5 dragon token. And then Skyline Home Depot, whenever it enters the battlefield, you're going to become the Monarch, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you're the Monarch, you get a 5/5 red dragon creature token with flying, put it on the battlefield. So it's going to be basically just kind of like a 5/5 dragon theme if these are the cards that you're going for. And the good thing about us kind of building this deck is we don't really have that high of a converted mana cost in some of these token enablers. So let's say that we go for Kaalia, she gets hated out of the game. If you just have your normal deck building, you know, mana ramp, different things like that, being able to cast Laughless and a few of these other creatures to get these extra dragons going, you're going to be able to build up a really nice board state. That also brings us to Nesting Dragon. I love this card because what you can do is you get Nesting Dragon down, you keep making those land drops, especially if you're playing some fetch lands. That's going to put a 0/2 dragon egg creature token on the battlefield that whenever it dies, we get a 2/2 red dragon. So long story short, this is going to be kind of like board wipe protection, a little bit of board wipe insurance. We get Nesting Dragon down, we keep making our land drops. If we have some sort of token enabler, that's going to be a lot of extra ones. Then let's say your opponent finally decides to go for a board wipe, or you can actually just go for a proactive board wipe, because this will basically, Nesting Dragon will turn your board wipes into a one-sided board wipe, which is really nice to have in Commander. So you blow your entire board up, all those dragons turn into 2/2s. Now you have your very own dragon army like Game of Thrones to swing in and fight the Ice King. Moving on to the demon tokens, we do have a little bit limited in the demon tokens. We have Overlord, it's going to be Devotion to Black. We get some 1/1 Black Harpy tokens. Always good. And then Overseer of the Damned, kind of a token generator. You get to destroy. I would kind of put it more in the removal spot, but since there's not too many demons that can make tokens, here he is. Whenever a non-token creature an opponent controls dies, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. So it is a little bit situational. Like I mentioned with the Nesting Dragon, this is kind of also like a little bit of board wipe protection. We can blow them up and get a ton of tokens. But yeah, being able to jump in, Overseer of the Damned, get rid of a creature, get a 2/2 zombie. That is some good magic. Now, if we're kind of have this focus on tokens, we need to be able to support those tokens and really kind of amplify those effects. So cards like Divine Visitation and Anointed Procession really help us build up a really nice board state. Divine Visitation is going to turn, you know, those 0/2 dragon eggs into full 4 angel tokens with flying and vigilance. that's a good trade-off for an egg. And then with Anointed Procession, that's going to be the parallel lives for the deck. That's going to allow us to really kind of double the amount of tokens that we're getting on the battlefield. Now, keeping on theme with kind of token support, also running cards like Young Pyromancer and Monastery Mentor. You get down any combination of these angels, demons, or dragons, Young Pyromancer, Monastery Mentor, get down Divine Visitation, Anointed Procession. Just cast your normal spells that you want to cast in a commander game. Next thing you know, you have an entire board of angel tokens, or just an entire board of tokens that are amplified, and you're just really good to go. This is kind of what the game plan is. Use these cards to really help build up a nice board state. Then get down Kaalia as kind of plan B, drop some dragons in, or we can use Kaalia as plan A. Try to get some dragons in. Let's say they spend a lot of their resources trying to get rid of Kaalia. Then we can just kind of take over the game with a lot of these token enablers. So it's just kind of like this back and forth with your opponent of, we can push the Kaalia threat, we can push the token threat. Either way, really excited to kind of refine this deck as time goes on because I enjoyed playing it. Moving on to some of the just normal angels that we are running. You want to have some sort of high impact creature still in the deck that you can cheat onto the battlefield with Kaalia. Avacyn Angel of Hope is going to give all of our creatures indestructible. Always a good thing to have. And then Angel of Despair is going to be able to destroy target permanent. That's going to keep your opponent's lands in checks, planeswalkers, enchantments, pretty much anything that's a permanent. It's always nice to be able to drop something on the battlefield and get a free Vindicate and have a 5/5 flying Angel. And of course, Platinum Angel. We'll see how Platinum Angel works out. I just kind of wanted to have it in here because I never run Platinum Angel in a deck, and here we are. So there's a lot of times where you play against Platinum Angel, and it's late in the game. By the time you get down Platinum Angel, your opponent gets it down, and if you don't have any sort of way to deal with Platinum Angel, it can become a real big thorn in your side. And so that's why I decided to run Platinum Angel. Is keeping on theme with our opponent trying to get rid of Kaalia, get rid of all of our early threats. We slam down Platinum Angel. That might be just enough to buy 2 or 3 turns to close the game out. So, and I don't know, it's always frustrating when that comes down. I know there's been a couple games where I'm like, hey, I'm about to win, and then Platinum Angel. Okay, now let's move on to the dragons. We got Sunscorched Regent and Hellkite Tyrant. I love Sunscorched Regent. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a +1 counter on it, and then you gain 1 life. It may seem like a lot for 5 mana, but there's a lot of times where you just get down Sunscorched Regent, and your opponents are like, oh, that's just a 5 mana dragon. Next thing you know, it's got like a 9/8, and it's gonna be swinging in. You got a lot of life gain. It's just a really good card. I love it. If I can ever find an excuse to run Sunscorched Regent in a deck, I'm running it. And also with 5 total mana, if Kaalia gets taken care of, we can at least just get down Sunscorched Regent and start cashing in some life gain and some tokens. We're also running Hellkite Tyrant. I love this one. Flying a trample and deals combat damage to a player, we get to gain control all of their artifacts. So this is a wonderful dragon to drop down with Kaalia. Swinging with Kaalia, drop this dragon in, steal their artifacts, and go to town. It's always pretty good. Now let's move on to the demons. We've got Lord of the Void and Runescarred Demon. Lord of the Void is one of my personal favorite demons. I love it. Flying, whenever Lord of the Void deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 7 cards of the library. Then we get to put a creature card from among them onto the battlefield on our side. This is one of those cards. Also, you're not going to see a lot of the common Kaalia demons in here. Master of Cruelties, different things like that. I just kind of wanted to build a little bit more of a fun approach to Kaalia. That way, if you want to build the deck, or let's say that you do have Kaalia played, or at least built, and people in your play group don't really enjoy playing against it, you can kind of put some of these more, not super win on the spot cards in here to really kind of have some fun. And Lord of the Void is one of the best demons you can do for that. It is so fun just trying to see what sort of creature you can grab off of that. And then of course, Runescarred Demon, that's going to be a nice tutor source and a nice threat in the air. Also running Doom Whisper, one of my favorite cards. You can use this to kind of dig for either that Anointed Procession. You can use it to find Divine Visitation. Let's say we need to get Monastery Mentor, we need to get some sort of ground game going. Whatever it is, Doom Whisper is definitely going to allow you to dig into your library and find whatever sort of answer that you need. But that is going to be it for the deck tech. I'm not covering Mana Rocks and Path to Exile, Mortify. This is Mardu. You have a ton of access to any sort of removal, enchantment, artifact, Oblivion Ring. So of course, definitely run that in and run some sort of Mana Rocks. I always like to keep my deck tests kind of short and sweet. But yeah, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this is definitely a deck that is a work in progress. And if you have any suggestions, be sure to leave them in the comments. That way we can kind of make it a little bit better and kind of go from there. But I've got some awesome gameplay videos for you up next, so make sure you stick around and watch. Welcome to Kaalia of the Vast. As far as our opening hand goes, we'll keep on this one. We've got Painful Truce and a couple board wipes. That sounds like a plan to me. No, I don't know how good it's going to be against a artifact deck, but we will certainly make this work. But yes, welcome to some Kaalia. Hope you're excited to get some cheap creatures onto the, or not cheap, but getting some creatures on the battlefield for the cheap and have some fun. So I'll cover our commanders in just a second. Let's go Catacombs. And we'll go and grab a black-red source off this Catacombs. Let's grab what is Blood Crypt? Man, I can never remember the name of some of these lands sometimes. Let's grab Blood Crypt, have that come into play tapped. Not going to pay 2 life, and then we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. We're playing Kaalia of the Vast Flying. Whenever Kaalia attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that opponent. Playing its Padium. Artifacts you control have hexproof. Then at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest converted mana cost or tied for the highest converted mana cost, draw a card. An opponent's going to go for Thought Vessel. And we're going to see Padium enter the battlefield. All right. We will not be able to go for Painful Toxic Deluge just yet, but I think we might end up going for it pretty quick because we want to make sure we can at least kind of stop that card draw from our opponent. So we go Plateau, and then anything else? Nope. Let's go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we did cover both commanders. It is free time. Let's have some fun. Now, as far as the new stuff that came out, the new commanders, I'm really excited about War of the Spark. There's some really, it's kind of like I'm trying to do a lot more deck techs this year as far as some of the new commanders that are coming out. And typically, you'll see in some sets where they've got, maybe 5 commanders or they've got 8 commanders. We're already up to like 12, I think, at this point, and they still haven't even spoiled all of the zombie gods yet. They did spoil Bantu today, which I'm really excited about. And if you're keeping score at home, that might make a really good Aristocrats deck. So we'll see. Ooh, Monastery Mentor. Yeah, let's do this. So we go Sulphurous Springs. And we go Toxic for 4. That's going to get that, get rid of that extra card draw, which is pretty much what we want to see. So let's go 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't want to click 3. That would just not be fun at all. So we're going to go Toxic for 4. We're going to try to get Padium off the battlefield and then kick it over to our opponent. We do have Monastery Mentor, so we can get down Monastery Mentor, go for Painful Truce, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, this is just definitely an interesting take on Kaalia. One of the main reasons that I ended up kind of going for a Mardu Tokens build of Kaalia is because typically she draws a lot of hate. People don't want Master of Cruelties on the battlefield. That's not going to be good. And so being able to kind of have like a plan B and use Kaalia as kind of basically just a late game threat out of the command zone is a pretty fun way to go for it. So let's go Windswept Heath. Let's go Monastery Mentor. And I like going for Monastery Mentor because our opponent is shields down at this point right now. And then we'll go and pass the turn. But yeah, if you're wondering why we went tokens with Kaalia, that's just kind of how you can do your commander deck building sometimes. There's not a rule, not necessarily a rule, but I mean, Kaalia is definitely a commander. You see it on the battlefield, you're like, okay, we need to make sure we keep Kaalia in check. But if they spend so much time focusing on Kaalia, and we can slowly build up a board state with Monastery Mentor, that's going to get the removal to go over to Monastery Mentor instead of Kaalia. That really kind of helps us push just a really nice board state to where once we finally do get down Kaalia, hopefully our opponent has spent a lot of their resources dealing with stuff like Siege Game Commander to where we can get some good tokens going. All right, so let's get this popped out. We have Urborg, so it's really not going to matter. So we're going to grab a Sacred Foundry. You're not going to pay 2 life. I have that come into play tapped. Let's go and cash in a quick Painful Truce because even though this is kind of a token deck, we still want to get down some sort of threat with Kaalia pretty cheaply. That's kind of what we want to do. So let's go Painful Truce, and that will be... So that's going to be white, that's going to be black, and then we need to tap. I always get so worried that we're going to mess up this Painful Truce. That's going to be black, white, and then we tap down red. There we go. So that's going to be 3 colors. That's going to give us a Monastery Mentor trigger, and at the same time give a nice little bonus. And Monastery Mentor is such a fun commander card. There's so many decks that are running white, and simply just splashing it in a deck, you're going to be able to just cash in a few extra tokens. Okay, so unfortunately we do not get any of our bigger creatures, but with Monastery Mentor is a non-creature spell, so we can at least get down Isolated Chapel, go for Signet, and then that way we can get a few extra monk tokens and end up with Monastery Mentor sitting at a 4/4, and that'll at least allow us to push in with Padium and get in for 4 damage. So let's go and push in with Monastery Mentor. There we go. Swing in for 4, then knock them down to 25. And then plus, with Kaalia, let's say that we swing in with Kaalia and get down something like Platinum Angel. That's another way to at least protect our board state just for a little bit. So, and we'll see our opponent. We've played against our opponent before. They mentioned that this is a jank build of Padium, so I'm excited to see what they've got. And shout out to our opponent for building or using the Mirrodin lands. I'm always a big fan of using some of the lands that really match your commander, at least getting that feel. It's always a nice thing. So at this point right now, with CG and Commander, that's going to be able to enter the battlefield, get a few extra Goblin tokens on the battlefield. That does give us the opportunity of at least, ooh, Crystal Shard. Okay, now if we can do something with Crystal Shard, we pay one for Monastery. Oh no. Okay, so let's gonna bounce it back to the hand. They're gonna be able to go. For some reason, I was thinking Staff. The art in my head that always looks the same. All right, so they send Monastery Mint. Ooh, and then we run into Anointed Procession. Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's going to be just enough. So yeah, I like going for that, especially with our opponent being shields down right now. Yeah, so we go Command Tower. We tap Sulphur Springs for Orzhov Signet, and yeah, we want to get down Monastery Mentor first because once we cast Anointed Procession, that's going to allow us to at least cash in one extra monk token. We're not going to get the added benefit of Anointed Procession, but we want to get the prowess. We want to get this going. Once we get these monk tokens to get them to 2/2s, it's going to make it a little bit easier for us to swing in. So we get down Anointed Procession, and oh, we're good to go now. So let's go and push in with a couple 2/2s. And this is basically what I'm kind of talking about with Kaalia. You know, this is kind of a little bit more of a token build. But now that we have this monk board state, it just kind of gives our opponent a headache. You know, they're going to deal with these monk tokens. Once we finally do find an angel, demon, or dragon to put on the battlefield and you start swinging with Kaalia, then we can go for that. It's kind of like you know, if you're building Lord Windgrace, Lord Windgrace is a very heavy land stack. You know, there's a lot of, you know, Life in the Loam, a lot of dredging, a lot of graveyard-based interactions, whether you're going for Harvest Worm, whatever the thing is that gets all the 1/1 worms on the battlefield. And then once you finally get down Lord Windgrace, you want to get down Lord Windgrace in a position to where you can just really take advantage of that extra value. You know, you can just slam it down as soon as you get it down, but it's going to be hard to protect Lord Windgrace. But once you get to that point where you have an active Life in the Loam, you're getting Gitrog going, different things like that, then it basically just helps supplement your board state. And that's exactly what we're doing with with exactly what we're doing with this. I just saw where our opponent had said pew in the chat, like they got rid of something. So, and look at this Paradox Engine. Oh man, that looks good. And if I remember this deck, I feel like they combo off of Paradox Engine. So if we can find some sort of answer for Paradox Engine, that would be really nice. We do have Anguish Unmaking in here. We have Mortify. We do have Bedevil. So we do have, you know, this is not one of our standard Jolt decks where we have one piece of like non-creature removal. We've got some good stuff in here. You know, if you're running Mardu, you want to run some stuff in here. So we do have stuff in here. If you're used to watching my videos where I don't do stuff, hey. But if we can survive past this Paradox Engine, especially with extra planar lens, we'll keep our fingers crossed. But let's see what the big payoff is. They've got 11 mana banked up already. Okay, so it's going to be Tamio's Journal. And they're gonna go. They're gonna go for Chaos Wand. Okay, so if you don't know about this interaction with Chaos Wand and Paradox Engine, basically what ends up happening is, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Oh no, we got Blightsteel Colossus coming down too. So once they have the active mana for Chaos Wand and they have at least 4 mana between artifact rocks, is that basically you keep tapping and untapping Chaos Wand. So at this point right now, we'll go and let one with Machine. Okay, so this is definitely Jake City. I'm gonna let our opponent just kind of speed through their turn, and if something nutty kind of happens, I'll stop and deliver some commentary. Okay, and our opponent does end up going for Lightning Greaves. That's going to give a Blightsteel Colossus. It does have Trample, Infect, and Indestructible, and also has Haste now, so they're going to be able to at least swing in. We can block with 1 Monk token, but that's still going to be Infect. So if they could somehow get a few extra artifacts to get this Power and Toughness going on Blightsteel Colossus, that might be the end of this one, but let's see what else they have in store for us. Oh, look at that Karn. Boy, that looks good. Not that I don't like the original Karn art. I mean, it looks good. It just looks like the contrast on it is just horribly out of whack. And this is I love the full art version of Karn on this. This looks good. Shout out to our opponent for running this one. Okay, so we have Blightsteel Colossus swinging across as an 11/11 with Trample. So I guess at this point we just go, we're going to have to block with Monastery Mentor. As much as I hate to do it, we're going to have to go for that. So we're going to block Monastery Mentor. Now we do have Damnation. that does not deal with Blightsteel Colossus. It'll clean up a lot of these Thopter tokens, but even then, like I mentioned, with Chaos Wand and an open Mana Rocks, they can basically just kind of cycle through their deck. So let's see what we draw into Rogue's Passage. That's not going to be able to stop what's going on. So at least if we want to, we can blow everything up and just lose to a Blightsteel Colossus. That'd be kind of fun. Yeah, we'll go ahead and scoop this one up. Our opponent's going to get it on this one. Unfortunately, that's the nature of the deck. We're not fully on board with Kaalia, so there's going to be some times where if your opponent gets off really quick with some sort of interaction with their deck, they're going to be able to beat us. But you can definitely see the power level of the deck, being able to get down Anointed Procession, getting those extra monk tokens going. That's really going to allow you to build up a really nice board state. But unfortunately, but Padilla beat us on this one. But anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Kaalia of the Vast. As far as our opening hand goes, yes, we're going to keep on this one. Exactly what we want to see. We've got 4 lands, and we've got some sort of board wipe. I was having a little bit of card draw, and we have an angel to dump on the battlefield with Kaalia. So I will certainly keep on this one. And I think... yeah, I'll probably just go ahead and lead off with Godless Shrine. That way we can have that come into play tapped, and then I'll be online for a nice Night's Whisper. So let's go and lead off with Godless Shrine, and then not going to pay 2 life, and then anything else we're going to go and pass the turn to our opponent. So we're playing Kaalia of the Vast, flying. Whenever Kaalia attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon from your hand tapped and attacking that opponent. Playing its Prosh. Whenever you cast this spell, create... oh, I got worried we had to do a fetch land real quick. You heard a weird create. But we had a land come into play tap, so there we go. Let's go. We go Badlands is going to put us down to 7. We go Night's... yeah, we're going to go Night's Whisper. Don't mind cashing in some card draw. We will have to discard down to hand size, but we've got a ton of lands, so we'll just probably get rid of one of our fetch lands at this point. And I think what we want to get rid of is going to be... we got a red source. Yeah, we'll just go and get rid of Flooded Strand. Yeah, that's fine. And we'll kick it back over there. So play against Prosh. Whenever you cast a spell, create X01 red Cobalt tokens. Named Kobolds of Carekeeper, or X is the amount of mana spent to cast Prosh flying. Sacrifice another creature. Prosh gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So we'll see what sort of build of Prosh we're playing. It's actually been a pretty long time since I played against Prosh. So hopefully it's not super combo heavy, but... Prosh is pretty gnarly sometimes. My opponent's going to go for an Imperial Seal. I was recording Kaalia earlier, and my opponent let off with a Wasteland, and then I let off with my land, and they blew up my land. And then the next turn, I get down Mana Vault, and then they scooped. And I was just, I felt it was pretty humorous. I was like, oh, okay. So we can Wasteland on turn 1, but if we go for a Mana Vault, I was like, okay. Somebody, yeah. Anyways. That's sometimes that happens on Magic Online. You just gotta not let it bother you. It didn't bother me. I just found humor in it that was too much. Anyways, all right, if we get down Windswept Heath, let's just go and crack Windswept Heath. We had nothing else to get down. I wasn't salty about it. I just some people get mad about certain things, and I just found some humor in it. Let's go Sacred Foundry. We're going to have that come into play tapped, and then anything else, kick it back over to our opponent. So we are looking at least getting down Kaalia next turn. That's going to work out pretty well for us. We do have Hellkite Tyrant, which I think we'll probably end up going for that, because Hellkite Tyrant, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, we get to gain control of all of their artifacts. So I think that's something we want to do. Now, our opponent... yeah, we don't want to go Urborg just yet. That might actually help them out. You know what? Let's do this. So we go Kaalia. I feel like we're walking into a piece of spot removal. I feel like we are. So, let's do this. Let's go Monastery Mentor. If we had some sort of... a little bit of ramp or something like that. Let's go Monastery Mentor. That way, if they did grab some sort of spot removal Imperial Seal, they're going to have to burn it with Monastery Mentor. And if we can untap with some sort of non-creature spell, then we can really kind of start to build up some sort of board state with some of our tokens. So, and let's see if they end up going for spot removal before they pass the turn. Okay, so we're going to go Kolagon's going to be in 2 damage to Monastery Mentor, and then we'll end up having to discard a card. I still like holding on to Merciless Eviction, being able to exile some creatures, and I guess at this point, I kind of like Linvala. Yeah, I think we just get rid of Urborg, because that might end up helping our opponent out just a little bit more. So we're going to get rid of Urborg, and that's going to get rid of Monastery Mentor. And at least next turn we can get down Scalding Tarn, and that's going to allow us to get a few more creatures going. But yeah, well, we'll try to go Kaalia, and if something doesn't happen with Kaalia, we'll actually finally just be at the points where we can just hard cast Hellkite Tyrant and Linvala. Not Lavinia, and then we can go for that. Their opponent does, with Lavinia, enters the battlefield, they have more life, so they do have more life at 28, you know, one more life, 28 is more than 27, so if we can go Linvala, and then if they end up getting more creatures, which are playing Prosh, we'll probably end up seeing that, then that'll allow us to at least, you know, get a little bit extra life gain. Let's go Scalding Tarn. And since we don't have the mana to get down any of these bigger threats, let's just go ahead and go for Kaalia. See if this is going to stick. That's going to be red, black, and then white. And then that does put them at only 3 cards left in our opponent's hand. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we're going to get this Kaalia to stick. But if they have some spot removal and we get lucky with the magic gods, once we hit 6 with Linvala, 6 with Hellkite Tyrant, being able to gain control of these artifacts is going to be a really good thing. Tainted Pack, exile the top card of your library, put that card in your hand, let's repeat this process and put a card into your hand, or you exile 2 cards with the same name. Okay, so they're going to go for Tainted Pack. Do they have to reveal that? Okay, they don't, so we're going to go and let them go through this Tainted Pack, and we'll see what ends up happening. Okay, so I'm not entirely sure. There weren't really any reveal zones. They just went for that Tainted Pack, so I'm not entirely sure what happened, but we'll see what they got off of that. But yeah, like I mentioned, if we run into that 6th land drop, that'll finally put us into this position. That's one of the good things about Kaalia, is you get her down, really threaten some good threats very quickly. But if they have an answer for Kaalia, and that puts you in a position where you can just start hard casting some of this stuff and then kind of going from there. Now, if we do hit the 6th land drop, big argument could be made for going for Merciless Eviction if they don't get down Prosh. If they get down Prosh, we might end up going for exiling all the creatures. At least we can, at the worst case, they're going to go for Lily or Chandra. Let's see. I think we might, and if we hit the land drop, I think we might end up going, yeah, they're going to 4 damage to Kaalia. I can certainly see that. Now, if we go Merciless Eviction, that's going to get rid of their ramp. That puts us in a weird spot to where we can't deal with Chandra. Let's go and crack Scalding Tarn. Our opponent did play an Urborg, so we can just go and grab a red-white source. Yeah, I guess I'm not super worried about Chandra being on the battlefield, but we'll see if that's what we actually want to end up going for. Alright, so we do run into Blood Crypt, so that does put us in the spot to where we can exile the artifacts. So even if we do end up going Merciless Eviction, exiling all the artifacts, they can just go +1 Chandra, and that's going to give them, yeah, let's see. So since it is sitting at 1, they go for the -3, 4 damage target creature. I think we just end up going Hellkite Tyrant. That's going to be a pretty big threat to our opponent. So yeah, let's do that. Let's go and shock in Blood Crypt. Let's go for Hellkite Tyrant. And that's the other good thing about Kaalia, is that now we've gotten to the point where we can cast these bigger threats if they do end up spending some of their removal on something like Kaalia, or at least kind of having a little bit more of a lower to the ground style deck with some of the creatures that we choose for Kaalia. At least we can get down some of these threats and then get down Kaalia, and then really kind of cheaply, you know, getting out something like Overseer of the Damned, getting out something like Lord of the Void off Kaalia is something that we certainly want to do. And then, you know, hard cast, Assassin's Trophy. Yes, we'll definitely use that ability to get a land. And since our opponent does have Urborg, we've got actually another white, so we'll go and just grab another. We've got 1, 2, yeah, we've got tons of red sources. We'll go and grab a Plains. That'll come into play, and we'll go and pass the turn. So if they end up going for Prosh, we'll see if we want to go for the exile. Probably end up exiling that, because that'll force them to keep using Chandra to recast it. And then what we can end up doing is actually going for Overseer of the Damned, kind of destroy their creature. Now, if we end up doing Overseer of the Damned on Prosh, and it does go back to the command zone, we're not going to get that 2/2 black zombie creature token, because if you kill a commander and it goes back to the command zone, it technically doesn't die. It doesn't go to the graveyard, which triggers Death Trigger. So that's, in fact, we might end up just going for, Goblin Bushwhacker. Oh no. Well, that's not too bad. I'm used to Goblin Bushwhacker in Modern, where it's just like you lose the game right then and there, but that is a pretty big chunk of damage, and so we might end up going for Merciless Eviction just to kind of exile everybody, and then we can follow it up with Lavinia to hopefully kind of get a little bit of stabilize. Yeah, I think that might be good. So we go Isolated Chapel. That's going to be Overseer of the Damned, and we're just going to whiff on that. If we end up going Merciless Eviction, that's going to give them enough mana to recast it. We go for Linvala, that's going to be 5 left, puts us up to 15. We get an extra Angel token too. Yeah, I think I kind of like going Linvala, because they have no sack outlet on the battlefield. It's going to be able to survive a Chandra. Yeah, let's go Linvala. I kind of like this play. It's going to complicate it just a little bit for them, because if we go Merciless Eviction, they're just going to recast Prosh, and then they're going to end up with the same board state. So, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we actually tap down an extra Isolated Chapel with that. A little bit of a downside bummer, but we have nothing else to do with it. So we're going to get 5 life gain. That's going to put us back up to 15, and also give us an additional 3/3 token on the battlefield. If we need to chump block on Prosh or something like that, we can use that Angel. Okay, and then anything else? No, let's go and kick the turn back over to our opponent. So, if we can get down Lord of the Void, we don't have an haste option right now, but if we can find Swiftfoot Boots, that'd be a good option to swing with Lord of the Void. I'm not entirely sure what kind of deck our opponent has just yet. Most of the time when you're playing against Jund, there's typically a lot of really good creatures to choose from, but depending on what sort of Prosh build they have, Lord of the Void might not be the best option. So we'll see if we can't get down Overseer of the Damned. But if something gets a little bit too nutty, we can still at least kind of exile all the creatures. It does get rid of Linvala, but we'll see what they get down. Ooh, opponent's going to go for Shared Animosity, and that is not going to be good for us. I think that's going to be game if they get down Shared Animosity. Yeah, we probably should have gone, it was a little cute going for Linvala, but, I mean, you can't really anticipate a Shared Animosity all the time. So, good game to our opponent. They're going to get it on this one, even if we block Linvala. Yeah, that's going to be enough. I guess the Magic Gods are paying me back for the Locust God. I won with the Shared Animosity the other day in the Locust God, so they're getting back at us. So, but unfortunately, they didn't have too many cards in hand, and I think I would probably still end up going for the Linvala line of play, because if they end up casting Prosh again, that's just going to give them more creatures. They're going to have more things to do with those extra creatures. So, but good game to our opponent. They won that one fair and square. And if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye. Welcome to Kaalia of the Vast. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got one colored source and a ton of mana. Yeah, we can't keep on this one. I've been playing Kaalia for a minute. Yeah, we'll make this work. We'll keep on this one. And then Cathar's Crusade against Estrid. Yeah, let's go and put that on the bottom. That's one of those cards that if we draw into it later in the game, it's always nice, but I don't really have a lot of token enablers at this point to really take advantage of that. So let's go Marsh Flats. And let's grab a black-red source. That way, hopefully, we can be online for Gift of Estates pretty quick, and that'll solve a lot of our mana issues. Yeah, let's go and grab a Blood Crypt. There we go. Blood Crypt. Let's go and have that come into play tap. I'm not going to pay 2 life, and then we'll go and pass the turn. Main thing is I'm just doing that right now. That way, we can not worry about our opponent. Like me forgetting to crack Marsh Flats and go through that. So we're playing Kaalia of the Vast. Whenever Kaalia attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking that opponent. And drawn to Soul Ring. So we've got a ton of quick mana. So let's do this. So let's go Soul Ring. And if we want to cash in a Gift of Estates, we might want to hold on to... Well, actually, we can wait until next turn, because they're going to have 2 lands. So, let's do that. We're still going to get down Plains, and then Gift of Estates will work out to where we can get some other good stuff going. So anything else, no, we're going to go and pass the turn. So we're playing against Estrid, the Mast. Untap +2. Untap each enchanted permanent you control. Then for a -1, create a white or enchantment token named Mast attached to another permanent, and then it has totem armor. And they did get down Mystifying Maze, so that is something that we definitely want to keep in mind as far as us swinging with Kaalia. But at least we're going to be able to get that creature on the battlefield. So let's go and go for Gift of Estates. It's going to be 1/2. And at this point, we do have white-black, so we do need to grab another red source, and we need to grab another white source. So let's just grab Plateau, and then let's grab Scrubland. That way we're not having to shock anything in. And then, we'll grab one more. So I guess we'll just grab... Since we have a white source, we're just going to grab Sacred. No, we need another black, so we'll grab Goblet Shrine. We do have some pretty heavy black requirements in here, so let's go Scrubland. Well, I guess either way, we can go Scrubland. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's not really much we can get down for 5, so let's go Hall of the Bandit Lord. And then that way, at least next turn, we can get down a colored source and go from there. Anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn over to our opponent. So they have that -1, create that aura champ, and then for the -7, Put the top 7 cards of your library into your graveyard, return all non-aura enchantment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield, then do the same for aura cards. An opponent's going to get down Ronus. Okay, let's go Scrubland. And I think at this point, yeah, I think we're okay with going for Kaalia, especially off Hall of the Bandit Lord. So let's go and cash this in. This is pretty much what Kaalia wants to do. So we're going to be aggressive on this one. Let's go Kaalia. She's going to have haste. Let's go and push in with Kaalia. And I think at this point, yeah, let's go and go for Platinum Angel. Or no, if we end up going for Skyline, that way we can start getting some card draw. Yeah, I like that. That's a little bit better. We can hold on to Platinum Angel for later in the game. We've got the mana for it. All right, so anything else? No, we're going to go and pass the turn. All right, so we did cash in another land. That's going to be a Flooded Strand. And hopefully we can find at least another sort of dragon or at least some sort of token enabler. And then we can really kind of start to develop a board state. Now with Platinum Angel, I think this is what... All right, opponent's going to scoop it up on this one. So unfortunately, with some of these Kaalia games, you end up with a really quick start. And so I may end up kind of splicing a few of these Kaalia videos together. So... catch you in the next game.